All right. So it's gone, and you guys all let EliGE get benched on FaZe. That's crazy. By the way, subscribe to the fl0m Clips and Highlights channel. Initial reaction, because I wasn't here. Looked at my phone, and I fell to my knees in the Columbus Zoo, basically. I think, really what this comes down to is like a move just had to be made. I don't know. And as much as I feel like a lot of people feel like maybe, even if you think EliGE wasn't necessary, I feel like it's really hard for me to say EliGE was the problem. But I am #1 EliGE Glazer, so that makes sense. I just think this team has been a mess. This team has been a mess since they got frozen. That's always been kind of like my opinion. And that's not even, and it's, once again, that's not Frozen's fault either. It's not even like because I think Frozen is bad. I always felt like when they got frozen and they had ROPS, I always felt like that was weird. And I'm kind of rehashing things, but you know, a lot of people will probably be listening to me yap for the first time about this. So short version, yeah, when they got frozen for Twist, when the whole Twist contract thing went down, I always felt like it was really odd. And then I think once they had Frozen and they kind of had all these issues, and don't forget, ROPS was leaving this team. They had a shit ton of issues going on, I think. And it wasn't that they all hated each other. It's just that the team on paper was kind of weird. And I think it's because, and this isn't to put all the blame on Kerrigan, but I think a lot of this roster relied on Kerrigan to find entries with Rain or like to take space a lot of the time when they had ROPS, and then it got weird. And then they tried to bring in somebody like EliGE for ROPS, which I think was a good start, but then Rain, Frozen, and EliGE had so much overlap, it felt really odd. Like I think if I remember right, and at the top of my head, for example, if they stuck with this roster, I think all three of those players play bathrooms on Overpass. Like, I think all three of those players at one point shared like the same position on 3 or 4 different maps, and that like just the CT side alone. Then the T side, sure, EliGE will go for more entries, but he's also not. They could never strike a balance between like making sure EliGE was getting his space, but then also making sure Frozen was in the late round situations. I don't know. I think something had to change in some ways. Let me try to pull up the tweet. I think EliGE already tweeted, right, that he should have an announcement soon. So yeah, he said, "Thank you for everyone at FaZe, end of a chapter, and we'll starting a new one soon." So I think for EliGE, I think that this is hopefully this is something that helps both people out. The glass half full is, I actually think that EliGE is still incredibly talented. I think FaZe is just a clusterfuck right now. People are going to put a lot of blame on him, but I think if you really looked at this FaZe roster, it's not really any one individual's fault, and definitely not his. And then I saw a lot of people talking about EliGE's individual performance, and they kicked him right as I think he got player of the week or some shit, or one of them. And he had like a 1.50, and he was an absolute monster on their T sides. But I will say this, if they knew they were making changes, which I imagine they did, I always kind of don't like looking at most recent performances, because EliGE is showing you what he's capable of on an individual level, but also there's basically no pressure, which kind of makes it irrelevant. I kind of hate looking at that. I hate looking at like, oh yeah, dead team walk-in, an individual star player with no pressure absolutely dismantles people individually. I am shocked. You know, it's kind of, I always feel like it's a bit, as somebody that wants to really glaze EliGE right here, I'm not going to do it that much. The real question is if he's going to have an announcement soon on his next chapter, what team do you think EliGE is going to? It can't be. I mean, listen. I would absolutely. If it was Liquid, I'm pretty sure they'd have me by the balls at that point. I think at that point, if EliGE goes to Liquid, I'm 100% going to therapy. Just for Liquid, like just to talk about my most toxic relationship ever in my entire life. I'm immediately going to therapy. I do think it'd be interesting. I saw people saying this, and I do think it's a cool one, is what if it was NAVI? And I just like it. I like the NAVI angle because I think they've been kind of cooked. For who? I don't know. Pick one that isn't Bit, if I'm being honest. Literally pick one. Don't touch Bit, anyone. I don't care. It could be Emma. It could be Mikaze. I don't care. Like, what I really like most about this, outside of just me being a big EliGE fan, I feel like the way that EliGE looks at the game, maybe might not be exactly the way that Blade sees it, but I feel like they're both very analytical, right? Like, I think Blade loves him some numbers, and I think Blade likes having a system and like set structure, and I feel like EliGE loves that shit. EliGE loves, you know, like a flow chart of an entire round and having every answer to every situation. And I think instead of just like creating a new solution to each situation sometimes on the fly, and I feel like that's what Blade really likes too. Blade wants to talk out every scenario and have everything planned out. True, actually, this is also, he could go to Falcons. That's right, because they recently got 3rd place at EWC. They need another star player, Kit Kixon, Nico IGL, EliGE Rifle. Then, just maybe, they have enough firepower to get 2nd, right? Just one more player, man. Just one more fucking player, dude. Come on. Come on, dude. All right. Like I said, if he goes to Liquid, deadass, I'm going to need to talk to a professional because I think at this point I should. And then also, I'm going to talk to a therapist and a lawyer because I think at that point I should be able to sue them just because that's the American way. And then, yeah, pipe dream, but I think would be really cool to see him on NAVI. Just like I said, I feel like he's a very analytical guy and how he likes to flowchart the rounds, I think would be cool to see him with Blade and Alexi B. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. I don't know where else he could go. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe G2 just because international roster at the top, but I doubt it. Like I said, I think it's, if he really does have a announcement soon and it's an international roster, I find it hard to believe it's anybody outside of Liquid Navi. Am I crazy? Am I missing something? I don't think I'm missing. I feel like that has to be the two most likely. Like Navi with losing JL really hasn't been able to find their flair again. You think Heroic maybe? Heroic doesn't usually buy out players. Well, do they? Am I misremembering? They bought a core for VRS, but when did they? But also the Tanir move hasn't happened yet. What the fuck's going on with that? You think he goes all the way back to Passion now that the core? You think he's, wait, where is Passion? Where the fuck is the squadron? Nope, still can't find. Oh wait, 56. Oh, they still have the wrong team up here too. No, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Short version. Okay, so to wrap up the FaZe thing, though, I don't really think it's EliGE's fault. FaZe, I don't think, can legitimately change out one player and then have success to the level that we expect FaZe to have success. I think that's fair. That's kind of where I'm at. And for EliGE, I'm hoping he ends up in a better spot because I don't really feel like he was the issue. And I think he was kind of treated as if he was getting like the most perfect situation to walk into. I think he was getting a great, from going to Complexity to FaZe, I'm not going to try it. Like, I think that was good for him. But also I think people treated it like he was going in there and was going to be able to solve all their problems or shit. Like, and if he doesn't, it's his fault. I just don't think that's where they're at, man. I don't see that being where they're at all. I think they need to have a serious consideration of what the fuck is going on with Kerrigan and Rain. And that's not even like Rain isn't even like, it's just that they don't, I feel like they don't know what they want out of either one of them. Like Kerrigan, I feel like is a chameleon in terms of what he's trying to do for the team because he's trying to do all of it. And instead of having one vision where he's like building on top of it, right? Like instead of just having that one identity, they're like, we won like this before and we have these players. So let me just keep like flex taping, throwing some duct tape, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And just surely we're just back, right? Is kind of what it feels like. Oh, we replaced one player and we just got to get another one and we're so back. We'll see though. Maybe I'm wrong. And then this is who they signed, right? Jacob. I don't know anything about Jacob. I don't know anything about this kid. I saw some people saying he was pretty good. But that was about the extent of I know anything about him. I don't want to like sit here and pretend like I know shit about him. But I also find it weird that you would have such a veteran roster and then bring in somebody like that. I don't know. But I guess they did that with Brokey, right? Right? Like I guess they did that with Brokey and that worked out well. So maybe I'm just delusional here. This could work, I guess. I mean, like I said, I haven't watched him, but based on his HLTV stats, with like it looks like he likes to go for a lot of entries, which is good. That's what they need. They need. But the issue is, and I still have is if he's going for entries, I feel like Rain also likes to be at the tip of the spear a lot of the time and at the front, and you don't want Kerrigan closing out rounds, and we're back at the same problem again, right? Like this is the issue is like Kerrigan isn't as good as Apex, but if you're building the roster like the same way, like if Jacob is going to be Flames, and that means Kerrigan has to be Apex, which is that to me at least. This is how it looks like they build out this roster. Vitality washout stop. True, they only won for 6 months straight. I wish I was washed in quarterfinals. I feel like Rain does his best work when he's tip of the spear on T sides and he gets to basically play like high action areas on CT. Not necessarily star roles, but like key positions where he's getting a lot of action on a consistent basis. He's a safe pair of hands, you know? Like he used to be really good, for example, on Cave on Ancient at B, right? He was nicknamed the Caveman before kind of the meta changed there a little bit. But those types of positions are so good. I don't know. I hope it works out well for FaZe, and I hope EliGE lands somewhere well because this clearly wasn't working. It just wasn't working. It sucks, man, because as an NA fan, I really wanted it to work. It was really fun to cheer for that team. It just sucked that it was so bad. And I say so bad, but also let's not overdo it. Let's not like fully hit the panic. This isn't great. This isn't great, but you could be doing one of these right now.